afternoon. Lee Cassell, Lamar Simpson, and Tim Clockerty. Georgia Tech in the home whites, and Notre Dame in the visiting blues, and the Irish control the opening tip. Notre Dame, winners of 3 straight. They have done it all without their best player, Marcus Burton, who remains out, the reigning ACC Freshman of the Year, and turned away at the rim is Tay Davis.
Big-time defensive possession to start it out. How about Mr. Mutombo?
Son of the Hall of Famer Ryan Mutombo starting at center for Georgia Tech. We take a look at starting lineups for the Yellow Jackets. Mutombo making his 4th straight start. Mustafa, the freshman, has really come on of late. And Nate George leading the ACC in assists.
Terrific playmaker, a big point guard, plays with terrific pace. Exhibit A.
George misses the leaner. It's knocked out of bounds by Mutombo.
Playing in that middle area, you're coming off a ball screen. Notre Dame's forcing you sideline. You're going to have to use the glass and make one of those happen.
Starting lineups for Notre Dame: Tay Davis coming off back-to-back 20-point games, and then Matt Alaco, a Princeton transfer, his last 2 games, 11 assists, no turnovers. Braden Shrewsbury, coach's son, falling away, tipped into the air, the rebound to Terry. Terry missed all of last season, had a calf injury, and then made the conscious choice to redshirt, preserve the extra year of eligibility. Catch and release. It's good.
Very simple release does Lance Terry have. Goes up the wrong side of his body, but the follow through is true, and he doesn't take much time to get that shot off. An excellent player playing beside Nathan George. He's one of the reasons for all those assists.
Leaner by Shrewsbury not there. Davis a 3. Well off the mark, and Mutombo snags the carom. This is a Georgia Tech team. Early loss to North Florida. They've been close a couple of times. Pushed UNC to the brink. Held their own against Oklahoma, but fell short in both of those games. Mutombo setting the screen. Gets it back from George, and the soft touch at the rim.
Hey, really like that short roll. How are you able to operate when that extra defender comes over? Nice move by Mutombo. One quick dribble and finish over the top. Not something he's had in his bag his entire college career.
Davis to Alaco, who draws the foul.
I love this. Ryan Mutombo hasn't always been an offensive threat. You see him here, short roll, strong with the basketball, one dribble and up. This is something they worked on about an hour and a half before tip, and you're seeing his gradual improvement. Went to high school here in Atlanta at the Lovett School, now really coming into his own.
Dad, an Atlanta Hawks standout when he played in town. Passed away in September at the age of 58. Damon Stoudemire in his 2nd season. What does it mean when you have a head coach with his resume on the sideline?
Well, I think your ears perk up right away in the fact that you have a guy like Nathan George who comes over leading the league in assists. What better person to learn from at the point guard spot than Damon Stoudemire, Mighty Mouse himself?
George was thrown into the fire as a freshman last year and had a number of big moments for Georgia Tech. A lot of dribbling by Terry. George is open. It's one area he's still working on, that outside shot.
That's exactly right. And if he's able to open up that part of his game, it's going to space the floor even more and allow him to do what he's comfortable at, getting in the paint and finding teammates.
Notre Dame 9 days before this game. They practiced. Had a chance to really reset and adjust to life without Marcus Burton.
Yeah, absolutely. And this guy right here with the ball, Matt Alaco, kind of that piece that makes everything work. They've moved the ball really well, but this is where Georgia Tech's good.
George in transition. Flip it, reverse it. And an early timeout by Micah Shrewsbury, whose team is 0 for 5 from the field.
How about Nate George? Take off in transition. Different part of his game, athletic, up and down. Georgia Tech off to a 7-1 lead, playing well.
I've got something I want to tell you. Yeah, I'm pregnant.
you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and get access to over 1,300 airport lounges. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Born for greatness.
The drought is over! The Tar Heels are back on top of the women's soccer world!
For greatness.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather in 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want?
Shrimp.
Okay, wait up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No. Renee Schropp, Terrence Oglesby courtside at McCamish Pavilion. Terrence, your keys for the game tonight.
Yeah, if you're Notre Dame, you need to make Georgia score. Of course, right now, he's already started to do that and look comfortable doing it. If you're Georgia Tech, make sure you cut off Notre Dame's driving angles. Not one guy on the floor for the Irish. Spectacular in one-on-one situations. They play by moving the ball and finding ways to attack off the catch. Make sure you're disciplined throughout the course of the possession.
Davis picked up by Dongo. Alako, the corner three. First field goal for the Irish.
The utility guy, Alako. Princeton transfer, so you know he's smart right out of the gate. Able to knock
That's
down
not a
shots in the
stereotype.
corner. I will throw that one in there, and I think that one's very flattering. But just a jack of all trades. Shrewsbury raved about his ability in the locker room, but now added responsibility with Burton out. He's had to be that guy they rely on. Nice pass.
Mustaf falling away, left it short. Dongo grabs the offensive rebound and somehow puts it in.
Falling away, a little bit of contact, doesn't matter. Bay and Dongo, such an athlete.
Micah Shrewsbury, the head coach for Notre Dame, telling us without Burton, more of the offense goes through Tay Davis and Shrewsbury, but it's vital for a third guy to step up. And when Burton comes back, that third guy is going to be the fourth guy, and he's going to be just as important to the success of this team.
Yeah, and all these guys are developing that kind of confidence. But I'll say this, right now, Anish, Georgia Tech is guarding, big time playing on the defensive end.
We were at shoot-around this morning. Big point of emphasis for Damon Stoudemire to cut off those angles, as you talked about. Tech with a 5-point lead early.
We sit now more than at any other time in human history. Orthopedic surgeons help design Volvo seats for your support and comfort. The Volvo XC90 7-seater.
You might not need crypto. But when 3% of every swipe starts to eat into your hard-earned profit, well, then you just might.
Slay the season with Hisense 100-inch TVs, up to 40% off. Get a slam dunk deal this holiday season. You're gonna need a bigger Christmas tree. Win the holidays with Hisense.
Born for greatness.
The drought is over! The Tar Heels are back on top of the women's soccer world!
For greatness.
ACC men's basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. And in part by Old Dominion Freight Line, helping the world keep promises. (9-4) Georgia Tech, and injuries have been a big part of the Yellow Jackets' early season struggles. They're 6-7. Koasi Reeves, one of their better shooters, he's been out. They missed now 8 straight games. He's not going to play today with an ankle injury. Dorian Onwuchekwa out for personal reasons. Luke O'Brien will miss his 3rd straight with a foot injury. It's been tough sledding. And then you've got McCollum, who's already missed 4 games, rolled his ankle on Saturday. We expect to see him, though, in action today. He did practice.
And he was playing really well against Alabama A&M when it happened. So a little discouraging there, but it's so difficult whenever you're not able to get any continuity playing. But McCollum now in the game.
He's parked in the near corner. 2 and white. Dongo backs down Davis. Lost it.
small part of Ndongo's development. Whenever he catches the ball in the mid-post, he's not putting the ball on the deck right away. You'll see him observe where the help side is at, and he's made that skip pass already once. That's just a small part that you have to learn. Going into your sophomore conference play, you have to know those things.
Punched into the back court, and that is going to be over and back as J.R. Konieczny retrieved. Notre Dame's big injury is their best player, Marcus Burton. ACC Rookie of the Year, first in Notre Dame history a season ago. Led the team in points and assists a year ago. And with all that Notre Dame had coming back, there was a lot of excitement for what this team could do in the ACC this year. And it started with Marcus Burton.
Absolutely, but at the same time, something like that happens. Nice pass, pick and roll management.
McCollum's three not there. The rebound by Nikita Konstantinovsky. He's on his fourth school. Was at Monmouth last year. Alako for Konieczny. Driving on George.
This is when you miss Burton, too. You need somebody to be able to create with the ball in his hands. Create something when there's nothing. 8 seconds to go on the clock. Alako can do it, but Burton's the lead at it. Nice pass.
Konieczny not there. And the rebound by Ibrahim Soare. Played a career-high 19 minutes Saturday. Played well against Alabama A&M. Corrals the tough pass and then way off the mark. Notre Dame will push.
That was terrific defense by Davis.
Alako
plays right in the middle.
Dangerous off that shot fake. Now it's Davis. Off the window, +1.
Such an impressive athlete is Tate Davis. Talked about him a little bit with Coach Shrewsbury before the game. He's always had this talent, the ability to put it on the deck. Look at the strong, playing off 2 feet, under control. Tate Davis able to finish. Fire the boys up a little bit.
Seton Hall transfer in his second season with Notre Dame, and he has been playing at an all-conference level since Marcus Burton went down.
Absolutely, and he had all those tools coming into college. Now it's about refining a lot of these skills. And Shrewsbury was very complimentary of Shaheen Holloway at Seton Hall, talking about he needed a little bit more of an edge, and now he has that. Throw in the fact you have all these skills, and now he's really starting to figure out his game, averaging more than 15 points a game on the season.
Up from 9 a game last year, and Micah Shrewsbury telling us before the game, he tried to recruit Davis twice out of high school when Shrewsbury was at Purdue, then when he went to the transfer portal. Shrewsbury was at Penn State. Finally was able to get him when he was at Notre Dame.
I'll say this, if I'm David Stoudemire, I love my offensive possessions. The ball's changing sides of the floor, you're finding open looks. Eventually you got to knock some of those shots down.
Logan Imes in there for Notre Dame. Konstantinovsky. And Soare, nice little touch. Put that on his TikTok.
The big Ukrainian. He's TikTok famous.
That's what you told me before the game.
That's what he told me. No, I'm just kidding. No, obviously, he's been at so many different places. You wonder what you're getting. But he's a big, strong 5-man that's a bit of a curveball compared to the rest of the league. The rest of the league filled with jumping jacks. Konstantinovsky's not that. And you see it with his inability to contest shots, but he's somebody that's going to be a little bit more floor-bound, bit of a bruiser, especially when down screens. You look at him there, nice screen and good shot.
Konieczny answers the George layup, and Notre Dame with its first lead. Irish have hit 3 straight since starting 1 of 8. McCollum, Oklahoma's leading scorer last year, the mid-range J. Analytics says that's a bad shot. Do you agree?
With the mid-range Jimmy? I'm a little bit in the middle because you've got to have guys that can knock them down, obviously, but I think I'm willing to play with some 2s with this JV McCollum.
Davis got his man in the air. Micah Shrewsbury wanted a foul, no call. Dongo pushing. Mustaf, the lob, Dongo the finish.
Georgia Tech has been at their best today when they're in transition. And Dongo, you understand he can play above the rim. Terrific pass. A lot of contact, didn't matter.
Imes looking for help through the trees. It comes to George. They want to push again. Notre Dame able to get back.
Georgia Tech's front court defensively has been a problem so far for the Irish. So athletic, even when going to the bench.
This one coming our way. Micah Shrewsbury stepped in front of it. You had that, though.
Certainly do, but both teams starting to go back and forth, find some offensive rhythm. Knesny off the down screen, forget about it. 6'7", I can knock him down. And then going down in transition. Great defense by the front court. You push it, you throw it up. Dongo knows what to do. Georgia Tech off and running.
You might not need crypto to sell a truck. But when wire transfers take forever, banks aren't open, and cash isn't convenient, well, you just might.
Born for greatness.
The drought is over! The Tar Heels are back on top of the women's soccer world!
For greatness.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want?
Shrimp.
Okay, right up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No. Notre Dame and Georgia Tech met 3 times last year, with the Irish sweeping all 3. And the last win for Notre Dame came in the ACC tournament, where they ended Georgia Tech's season. But all 3 games were close. One went to overtime. The other 2 decided by 3 and 4 respectively.
Yeah, 2 programs, 2 first-year head coaches last year. I mean, here's the deal. You look at both squads in their current form. They're both building incrementally. So you look at what Georgia Tech has. Nate George, Bay Dongo. Those guys, now sophomores. You look at Notre Dame, Braden Shrewsbury, Marcus Burton. They're being allowed to develop the way that coaches would like to do it.
The problem is,
sure,
that model is harder and harder to sustain in college basketball right now.
Oh, there's no question. But that also says you better be good to your guys, and you better keep your promises.
Imes, the drive, the dish. Chebuhar right back to Imes, guarded by McCollum.
Wow, the defensive pressure for the Yellow Jackets have been impressive.
Shot clock winding down. Imes has to force it. No good. Tried to go over Duncan Powell. It is going the other way. You're a big fan of 31 in white Duncan Powell for a number of reasons, including follicular
Look at
reasons.
that. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you call that? What is that called?
It slips my mind. The shag. It's the shag, and it's a Dallas thing, and he's given people like me hope that there is a future. However, I don't think my wife would be all that happy if I pulled off a shag with the bottom. I'm considering it, though. But he's one of my favorite players to watch. You want to talk about an endless motor. Started at NCAA, Sacramento State last year. Plays just ridiculously hard.
McCollum takes it away. Here he is, Duncan Powell. And 2 shots coming. That means another chance at a close-up of the shag.
How do you not love that? Give that man every piece of camera time we can give him. And we'll give him a little more. Look at the activity, though, defensively. Georgia Tech, this is where they've been at their best so far today. Out in transition, and give the shag his time to shine. Look at that masterpiece.
Now, if you wanted to, could you?
I mean, I have enough in the back there. It's on the top that I'm worried about. No, a really nice player. Tough as nails. Does all the little things. Screens hard, rebounds harder. he pops off the tape whenever you watch him play. He's in the mix on every possession, and he plays exceedingly physical.
He was the leading scorer and rebounder for Sacramento State last year. A little more than 6.5 per game off the bench for Georgia Tech. Imes, the sophomore. Shot clock at 3. Roper's got to put it up. Back to Imes. Beats the shot clock. And the rebound snagged by Mutombo. Here comes Powell. Acrobatic finish.
The defensive discipline for Georgia Tech. A full 30 seconds. And they get off in transition. They're able to finish again. Notre Dame's got to make Georgia Tech play in the half court because Georgia Tech's getting whatever they want.
I thought you were going to say it's got to be the hair.
Got to be.
Konstantinovsky underneath, lays it in.
Plays on the ground, a lot of shot fakes. Relies on those broad shoulders, creates space. Nice finish.
Big 6'10" Ukrainian. McCollum. A fade and a pretty finish.
The man is a tough shot maker. Been that ever since he was at Siena. Transfers to Oklahoma, was terrific there under Porter Moser. Things haven't changed all that much under David Stoudemire.
13 a game to lead the Sooners last year.
Great
Shrewsbury's
pass.
been quiet. Found Konstantinovsky, missed the bunny. Comes back to Shrewsbury. Terry poked it away. Powell the loose ball. Ahead to Terry, the Ramblin' Wreck. Out and running.
Come on. Georgia Tech just wants it more at this point. Anish, big time hustle, Lance Terry, and he's rewarded with the slam. Love when that happens.
Duncan Powell has come into the game, and it's been a shot of Red Bull for this Georgia Tech offense. Shrewsbury from the baseline, grazed the rim. Offensive rebound by Roper. Well, that's a shot clock violation, but that ball hit the rim. And Micah Shrewsbury is pleading that case. And it looks like they're going to solve that. Now that ball grazed the rim. Clearly the shot clock never reset, and Micah Shrewsbury pleads his case.
He's going to be upset after watching the film of this one. You got to get on the floor. Lance Terry sure did. And watch this one. Quick right hand slam. Got Georgia Tech up 9. I'll take 2 looks at it. Why not?
Crypto wasn't for him. He was more of a hardware guy. But those credit card fees kept sneaking up on him. Then part-time cashier / full-time grandson had another idea. Crypto payments. Lower fees, less paperwork, more profit.
Thank you.
Crypto wasn't for him. Until it was.
Born for greatness.
The drought is over! The Tar Heels are back on top of the women's soccer world!
Born for greatness.
Nish Roth and myself back here in Atlanta, and Micah Shrewsbury beside himself as his son Braden Shrewsbury, he's able to get to the baseline. Take a peek at the shot clock in your bottom right hand corner. Fade away, ball hits the rim. It did hit the rim, needs to reset to 15. Shrewsbury beside himself because he has an advantage situation. The clock doesn't, the clock goes off, everything stops.
Reset to 15 seconds.
And then you're taking away a 2-point bucket.
During the
or
break,
the opportunity for a 2-point bucket, sorry.
And during the break, the officials did get the call correct. So it is Notre Dame ball. They added 15 seconds on the shot clock. Remember, it resets to 20 after a miss, so they have adjusted to 15. And Alaka will inbound. Knesny, catch and shoot. And it comes to Mustaf. Open look for McCollum. Yes.
I'm not even sure I would consider that open. Semi-contested, doesn't matter. McCollum, that ankle looks fine to me.
He's got 7. It is a 15-2 Georgia Tech run, and they've made 7 straight baskets. Roper, Konstantinovsky puts it up over Powell. And Mutombo limps off the court. Boy, Georgia Tech just cannot afford any more injuries, and now it's the 7-2 Mutombo needing help to get to the sideline.
I didn't see anything. Did you see anything? Sometimes those are the scariest ones.
Non-contact. As we told you, the son of the late Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo, winner of 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Dongo in the painted area.
Down goes Dongo, doesn't matter. Ball goes in. And he does that with consistency. Fades away on a hook shot, falls on the ground. He's been pretty consistent with it. But the speed and how Georgia Tech's operating has been noticeable. Their aggression has been awesome.
Davis ripped the rebound away from Dongo. Second chance here for Notre Dame. Davis just 1 for 4. Shrewsbury's been quiet too. Alako. Knesny from the corner. That doesn't go.
Georgia Tech's collective defensive discipline has been off the charts.
Dongo and George leads to a turnover. Knesny the other way. Looking to push. It rolls out. Offensive rebound, Roper. Roper off the Alako feed. A rebound to George. And every time Georgia Tech with its eyes up, looking for early offense.
That's exactly right. You don't have to execute in the half court if you're not playing against 5 players, and that's what's happened so far. Notre Dame's struggling to get anything offensively, and they're going to have to start making shots because that's when they can set their defense.
George to Powell. Front rim, Davis the board. Irish just 2 of 10 from beyond the arc. Davis back iron on the 3, make it 2 of 11. Shrewsbury and Davis a combined 1 of 8. And with Burton out, they need those 2 to play well.
Absolutely right. You know who is playing well? J.V. McCollum not able to make that one happen, but nothing has been easy. Every cut has been met with physicality. They're fighting through ball screens, and they're communicating really well.
Alako through the contact. Good defense here. Konstantinovsky picks up his bounce. Shot clock is down to 5. Alako over Dongo. George taps it away and comes up with the loose ball. George, the ACC leader in assists, finds Dongo, who crashes to the floor, but he'll get rewarded with 2 free throws.
Hopefully Dongo's okay. Might need to check the wood on the floor. But playing with such pace, right? I think that's the thing we keep coming back to. Georgia Tech, 8 of their last 10 field goals made. But look, you see a mismatch, you go up. Konstantinovsky, not light. They're going to come and take a look at it. I'm not sure there might be much to do about nothing, but it keeps coming back to this. Both teams in a little bit of a scoring drought, sure. But at the same time, like the pace and the effort that Georgia Tech is playing with, it's translated on both ends of the court, and they're able to get some easier looks than Notre Dame is.
Georgia Tech, again, the difference in the game, 12 points. You look at fast break points, 10-0 advantage for the Yellow Jackets. That's how you shoot 57% from the field when the other team's not set on defense.
100%. Then you have a guy like Dongo who's taking off and running and trying to get deep post position. You look at the field goal percentage at the bottom of your screen there. I mean, that's why. Look, runs straight down to the rim, finds position. This is much to do about nothing unless there is contact to the head or neck. That's the only way. Nothing intentional here, but could qualify flagrant one, and it will be.
So a flagrant one on the 6'10" Nikita Konstantinovsky.
After further review, the common foul has been upgraded to a flagrant one foul on blue 25. Notre Dame will get 2 shots in possession of the ball.
And I think it's important that people realize intent isn't a part of the flagrant one or flagrant two process. So, or excuse me, flagrant one process. Obviously, flagrant two, intent is a big portion of it. But with a flagrant one foul, contact to the head or neck, intent is not part of the process. He didn't mean to do that.
He's 6'10". He has long limbs.
He's a heavy 6'10".
So Dongo, 60% free throw shooter at the line. He added some weight in the offseason, about 25, 30 pounds. Really for Damon Stoudemire in year one, he and Nate George, their emergence through the course of the season gave hope to what things can be. Now again, you got to recruit your own players, and you have to keep them. It's a different age of college basketball where just because you have 2 freshmen doesn't guarantee you anything. But those were 2 foundational blocks. And again, you go back to, you know, some of Josh Pastner's best teams, for example, when they had Alvarado and DeVoe and guys like Moses Wright early in their career. Those guys all stayed and ended up being a part of an ACC championship team.
Going back even further, Ben Lammers, guys that hung around for an extended period of time. That's when Georgia Tech has been at their best recently. Now, obviously, different coaching staff, different way of doing things, but I mean, being able to have your point guard and your best player that's a 5 or a 4 certainly helps.
It was a young team last year that beat Duke, Carolina, and Clemson. All 3 teams got to the Sweet 16 or beyond.
They showed flashes. It was against everybody else that they struggled. But here's the thing. That's a part of the growth of some of these young players. You got to get up for those other games, too. They certainly have the talent.
Something to watch here. Just now, Dongo picked up his 2nd foul. George. Green lights it. No good. Offensive rebound. Dongo through a double team. Yes.
Come on. Feels the double team coming from the top side. Ball fake, spin baseline, forget about it.
19-4 run for the Rambling Wreck. Notre Dame's missed its last 6 shots and 9 of its last 10. Abijai hands off to Alako. Knesny finally hits.
Somebody take the lid off. J.R. Knesny from South Bend needs to help this team from South Bend find some offense.
He's a redshirt junior at 15 in the win against Syracuse earlier this month. Dongo can knock it down from there. Instead, hands off to George from the elbow.
Nate George's ability to navigate a pick and roll and find options quickly has really stood out, not just today, but over the past 2 seasons. I mean, a bigger guard, 6'3½-ish. I'd give him a couple more inches because of the hair, but I mean, really talented.
Sounded jealous when you said that.
I am extremely jealous.
Knesny backing down the sophomore George.
Look at the activity.
Shot clock down to 3. They got to put it up. They do. And the shot is good by Sir Muhammad, who had knee surgery and had been out since November. So his first action about a month and a half.
Charlotte area native, son of Nazi Muhammad, longtime NBA player, played at Myers Park High School, one of the better public schools in the Charlotte area. Nice pass.
That's part of town, too.
Come on, that was a pass, Anish.
That's an assist.
Give it to him.
Soare will get the 2. It's 34-22, Georgia Tech.
When it rains, it pours, and the Yellow Jackets playing well at home, that's for sure.
Derek Whittingham on line 1 says it was a pass. Abijai turns it over. McCollum the other way. Hits the gas, fades. Soare had position and draws the foul on Alako. Georgia Tech has pushed the pace. They've controlled the tempo. They're shooting almost 60% from the field in the opening half.
I've got something I want to tell you. Yeah, I'm pregnant.
You might not need crypto to sell a truck. But when wire transfers take forever, banks aren't open, and cash isn't convenient, well, you just might.
Born for greatness.
The drought is over! The Tar Heels are back on top of the women's soccer world!
For greatness.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want?
Shrimp.
Okay, wait up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No. Hey, it's become popular. It's become popular. It's the Drew Gooden look.
That's right. And I'm trying to make it popular because that might be the only haircut I can pull off. But I'll say this about...
You save a lot of money, though, trust me.
That's true. Good point. But you talk about the front court. Toughness on his part. Toughness. Ryan Mutombo coming in, blocking shots. Soiree coming in, playing some good minutes. Notre Dame's going to have somebody pull a Luke Hancock and knock down some threes because you're setting guys up. You're finding some of these looks. Haven't been able to knock them down. And as a result, some of these rebounds have ended up being longer. And Georgia Tech's been able to find some easy looks in transition. Oh,
Alako
wow.
fell down and then commits his second foul. 3 shots for Javian McCollum.
Shrewsbury beside himself. He thought it was a moving screen, and I'm not going to argue all that much. Alako trying to battle through. Not a very smart play. Look, moving screen right there. And then you just have to get off to the side. You cannot foul a three-point shooter, especially one as good as Javian McCollum.
Last year at Oklahoma, a 94% free throw shooter, 90% for his career.
Is that good?
It's not bad.
How impressive has he been in the early go? I mean, through the course of this first half. Step back shots, attacking the rim, knocking down threes. Played well against Alabama and A&M last game before spraining his ankle. Doesn't seem to be bothering him all that much right now.
That game got him unlocked a little bit. He got off to a great start this year, was averaging close to 15 a game, suffered a concussion, first 3 games back from the concussion after missing 4. Only scored 14 total points and then went for 18 over the weekend. And he's had a nice little first half here for Georgia Tech. Double figures in scoring for McCollum. Shrewsbury from the baseline. Rainbow shot, no pot of gold at the end. Powell has the rebound, tied up. Jump ball.
There were 3 Irish players around that basketball, and Duncan Powell's the one who comes up with it. Tough shot, Braden Shrewsbury on the baseline, nice defense. There were 3 players right there. You've got to get that basketball. You're on the road to open up conference play, or not open up, but 3rd game in conference play. You have to get that rebound if you're going to compete and come back from down 15.
The problem for Notre Dame, their stars, Shrewsbury and Tay Davis, have 1 field goal combined and 3 points total in the first half. And without Marcus Burton, those 2 have to show up. McCollum almost traveled, finds an open George, who splashes it through.
How is this Notre Dame team 6-7? Or, no, excuse me, Georgia Tech team 6-7. The way they're playing right now, their intent, their purpose on offense, their physicality defensively, impressive showing for the Yellow Jackets.
Up by 18. Davis trying to get going off the bounce. Offensive rebound, and there's a putback. He's got 5. Shrewsbury, who had been averaging 18 a game in the 6 games Burton was out, goose egg in the opening half.
And forcing him to play uncomfortably, heavy pressure out to half court. And then whenever he's able to beat the first man, Georgia Tech's doing such a nice job of switching. Impressive first half.
On all accounts,
Oh, wow.
What
Come
a
on.
pass. Powell.
Come on.
An assist by George, who's the ACC leader. Alako lets it fly. Jai, the rebound. Time expires, and on New Year's Eve, Georgia Tech's leading scorer, only 5 points in the first half. Meanwhile, George, the sophomore, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Only 1 turnover. Georgia Tech, again, a lot of easy looks in transition. Shrewsbury still looking for his first points. Was scoreless in the opening 20. Irish only shot 28%. Shrewsbury still without a basket. A foul on the floor. That is 3 on Baidongo.
And that's big because he has been a menace in the front court. He's complaining. He thinks that Davis got up underneath him and hooked his arm, but I like the aggressiveness. Shrewsbury coming out, trying to find one coming off a down screen. At the same time, you got to make sure it's a good look. Here's another one.
Dongo remains in the game. Remember, Ryan Mutombo left in the first half, nipped off the floor. Shrewsbury finally enters the chat with a 3.
I love it. A little baseline out of bounds. He comes off a stagger screen to the corner. Can't leave the ball. George thought his guy was back. Not enough communication. Ends up with a wide open one.
Terry, the floater. He's got 7.
Just so composed and looking to score. Doesn't overexert himself. Doesn't force the issue. Just a bona fide score.
And they're going to get George with a reach in. His first foul on Alako.
See Lance Terry coming off a ball screen, or not even a ball screen, just good pace. Mutombo holds his guy off. Tough little finish. And how about this? Notre Dame, they're awake. Took them a half, but they're here.
Dongo with a chance for a 3-point play. I'm sorry, Dongo picks up the foul. Tay Davis to the free throw line. That's 4 now on Baidongo. That's a big loss. You got Mutombo out there, who again, remember, looked like he either cramped up, did something, but he's back out on the floor. Now Dongo, who's been an impact player tonight, on the bench. All of a sudden, Notre Dame within 15, and the pendulum starting to swing.
Hey, you see 2 possessions, 3 foul calls, a 3 and an and 1. Quick 6-point swing. Notre Dame not left for dead, playing really well here early in the second half.
Terry's 3, offensive rebound. Mutombo tied up with Davis with a jump ball. And possession arrow to Georgia Tech.
Hey, Ryan Mutombo, number 12, Georgia Tech, had a hard time finding his way at Georgetown. Comes down here, he's found a role for the Yellow Jackets. Made his impact today with his size, ability to block shots, and on the offensive glass.
Was a tough go for him early. Didn't play in the first 9 games, dealing with the loss of his dad. Powell hands in the 3.
Duncan the Shaq Powell. Bad man left corner. He loves that spot. And Nate George knows exactly where he's going to be anytime he comes off a ball screen.
He's Shag. Matt Alako's nickname is Mush.
Got a Shag Mush bucket.
His dad started calling him Mush when he was little. He liked to talk. He was going a mile a minute. And Mush from Fat Albert, not the one from a Bronx Tale. McCollum leans into one. Boy, he's got a smooth game when he's on.
He sure does. He's so composed when he's on, too, and just creates just enough space.
They're going to get a foul against Duncan Powell, his first.
And McCollum complaining about an ankle. Duncan Powell fouled in order to make sure that they could play 5-on-5 defense. Powell, for him, he needs to be careful. Can't let fouls become a part of this game. That's only his first.
And remember, McCollum rolled his ankle Saturday against Alabama A&M. Left that game, did not come back. He didn't practice yesterday. Took part in shoot-around and has looked pretty good today. Alako kicks it back out. Knesny, shot clock at 5. Shrewsbury. Not there. Offensive rebound, Davis. Fouled by Mutombo.
I like it. If you're not hitting shots, you better crash the offensive glass. Tate Davis so far here in this second half, extremely active. So impressed with his development over the course of his career. Averaged just under 3 points a game at Seton Hall. Comes to Notre Dame, a little over 9 points a game last year. And you see the tools, how he's continuously been able to develop his game throughout the course during college.
Last season, in his first with the Irish, Davis averaged 9 a game, 16 a game this year. We remind you, Virginia Tech and Duke coming up next here on ACCN. We get to see Cooper Flagg and the number 4 team in the country at Cameron Indoor. We wish you all an early Happy New Year in Ishroff, Terrence Oglesby, McCamish Pavilion here in Atlanta, Georgia. Turnover. Olako. Blocked by Powell. Knesny gets it back. Shrewsbury trying to shake McCollum using the screen from Jai. Davis strong to the baseline.
How talented is that kid? Covers so much ground off one bounce. Ball finally moves. This Notre Dame team playing with serious intent in the early going of this second half.
Damon Stoudemire sees that too. He wants a timeout. Georgia Tech still up by 14.
Tate Davis being aggressive, getting downhill, finishing among the trees. Tate Davis, super talented, and they need him to be if they're going to crawl back into this one. I say this, Anish, Tate Davis has brought a different sense of physicality and assertiveness here in this second half, attacking the offensive glass, really tough off the bounce, creating contact, finishing among the trees, and really doing a nice job of getting his initial first step past the defense. So good, and he's opened up with a flurry here in the second.
They have more points already in the second half, and something to watch. Baidongo has picked up 4 fouls for Georgia Tech. He's out. Notre Dame has drawn 5 fouls in the first 3 minutes of this half already against Georgia Tech. You want to dent a 14-point deficit? Get to the free throw line, do it with no time going off the clock.
And it's been in large part because of Tate Davis. And you see his improvement from Seton Hall, 2 to 9 to 15. Continues to develop his game, but you see the natural tools and raw athleticism he has. Now he's been able to refine some of it, and we've gotten a glimpse of it over the first 3 minutes of this second half.
George against Olako. Plenty of time to shoot. McCollum's got a dozen to lead Georgia Tech. Powell steps into it. Short. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Georgia Tech. Last touch, Jai.
I'll tell you what, my man Duncan the Shag Powell, he's the extra effort player. He ends up with the shot at the end of the clock. Goes short. He knows it. He makes that extra effort. And now Georgia Tech's got the ball, 20 seconds on the clock. They can redo their offense.
The headband really ties it all together.
It does. Right there at the line, too. If the ACC will have me, I'll wear a headband and then grow that back part of my hair out.
I'd love to see it.
If they'll have me for the tournament. We'll see. I'll say defensively, too, Notre Dame, it's been a different sense of urgency as you see them staying in front.
Shot clock at 2. And that's a shot clock violation.
Great defensive possession. Braden Shrewsbury staying in front of J.B. McCollum. Not an easy task.
What is the path back into this game for Notre Dame?
Continue playing with offensive force. That's been the biggest difference here. Oh, grenade action. Moving screen, that's tough.
Shrewsbury had a great look. The foul is on Keba Jai. It's his first, and the first team foul on Notre Dame. Under 16 media timeout. Tech still leads by 14. Notre Dame looking to start 2-0 in ACC play for the first time in 7 seasons. Georgia Tech trying to get to 500, looking for its first conference win, and the Irish dug themselves in an early hole. You talked about offensive toughness for Notre Dame. What does that entail?
I mean, just being strong with the basketball and taking your angles when they're given. It felt like in the first half, Notre Dame a little bit trying to let the game come to them a little bit too much. Whenever you're playing offensively, you have to take it to the defense sometimes too. And that doesn't necessarily mean forcing a shot up. That means being strong with the ball, sweeping through. And if you're going to give up a moving screen, sometimes like you're going to live with those things because you need to set an example of what's to come the rest of the half, because after that physical first half for Georgia Tech, Notre Dame needed to show something.
McCollum lines it up and knocks it down. He's got 15.
Tough shot maker.
They sag off Jai. Ibrahim Soiree into the game. Dongo on the bench with the 4 fouls, and Jai goes right at Soiree. Rebound snatched by McCollum.
It's one you have to have, Jai, right over the top. You got to be able to finish one of those. You're trying to crawl back in a ball game.
George falling away. How do you like the home cooking?
I love it. Banks open on New Year's Eve. Might as well be. But man, Nate George, got to be able to score it sometimes too. I think sometimes assist guys, they're a little too unselfish. If you don't shoot that basketball, makes it difficult to make those guys draw in. As a result, he makes one. Next time, the help's going to stay a little bit longer.
And the lead back up to 19. Alako, the floater. He gets the bounce as well.
I love it. Go around that screen. Little side ball screen. Get the defender on your back. You can control one. Little trap dribble. Keep the guy behind. Float game is good.
Micah Shrewsbury praised Alako, his leadership, how he's helped team chemistry. It'll stay with Georgia Tech. And this Notre Dame team, well, they returned more scoring than any other ACC team. 86% of their scoring. 4 starters back. It's really unheard of these days in college basketball.
Sure.
Then you bring in a grad transfer like Alako, and he's fit in seamlessly. Princeton guy, high IQ, can pass the ball, gives you some outside shooting as well.
And he's needed to be that guy.
George kicks, Powell beats the shot clock, misfired, rebound Konieczny.
The physicality on the glass is night and day different for Notre Dame.
Davis has a mismatch. George got into the body, and we get a foul. It's on Tay Davis.
I'll say this, I thought there was a lot of contact on the defensive end. You see him swing, arm around, it's close. A good rip of the ball. Nate George, you have to be pesky whenever you're switched off. Tay Davis with another one. It's close for me. It's close for me.
Georgia Tech led by 19 at the half. McCollum's had a strong game. Step back 3.
I don't love
Out
it.
there, Davis the rebound.
I don't love it. A little bit too much dribbling for Georgia Tech. Notre Dame really walling off any offensive set that Georgia Tech's trying to run right now. Oh, nice spin.
Davis Cyclones inside. Another and one chance for Tay Davis, who's put this game on his back in the second half.
That man is really, really talented. A whirling dervish, if you will. Going back to the right, little up and under. Jay Billis would be proud of that. That's one of his pet peeves, right? Up and under is not a reverse layup. It's a ball fake, step through, big time finish here in this second half. Tay Davis has been electric, and he has brought the physicality to Georgia Tech. Where in the first half, that wasn't the case. 10 points here in this early going in the second half.
He's got 14 and now 15 with the free throw for the ball game. 6 rebounds. Looking for a third straight 20-point game. Irish within 14.
So that ball needs to change sides of the floor.
Here's the freshman Mustaf. Over Konieczny, forced that one up. Rebound Notre Dame.
Okay, so Georgia Tech broke that play off. If you push that ball ahead, Nate George got one. Braden Shrewsbury, he's got one too. How about that?
In the 3, and the Irish with an 11.
They have brought the heat here in this early going.
Pull up by George, doesn't go. Suarez saved it right to Notre Dame. Shrewsbury, a 3. Got it!
$2 for $1. Braden Shrewsbury gets Georgia Tech to take a timeout. Are you kidding me? How about this? The physicality's different. They're running offense with purpose, and you cannot let this man, Braden Shrewsbury, get open. And in transition, you better communicate. That man, coach's kid, will make you pay. Notre Dame hit within single digits. This is a game. Anish, Notre Dame, they're back in it, pushing the pace, taking a page out of Georgia Tech's playbook in the first half, getting stops, getting out and running, and knocking down shots. Braden Shrewsbury, 9 points in this second half after an offer in half one. He has come alive, as has Tay Davis.
Yeah, those two have 19 of Notre Dame's 23 points in the second half, and an 11-0 run has all of a sudden made this a game in single digits. 19-point halftime lead is down to 8 for Georgia Tech. You get Shrewsbury and Davis activated. It's a different Notre Dame team.
And this run coincided with Dongo going out of the game with his 4th foul. That was huge, and it happened in the first minute and a half of this second half. But what it comes down to, Notre Dame continues to get stops on this end of the floor. Georgia Tech's taking some hard ones. That's not one of them. They need it.
Powell has been feasting in that corner. Lead back to 11. Davis strong. And again, without Dongo down there, Notre Dame in attack mode in the half-court offense.
I love what Shrewsbury did offensively on that set. You get out, you get Tay Davis the basketball, and then you have somewhat of a pistol action dribble handoff on the right side of the floor. He's able to fake it because his versatility and ability to handle the ball. Gets down there. Big time athlete, we know, and that's 7 fouls for Georgia Tech on the half. Now in the bonus for the duration.
Yeah, so Notre Dame will have a 1-and-1 from here on out. This was a shooting foul. It's 3 fouls on Mustaf. Dongo has 4. George checks in for Mutombo. Small lineup out there for Georgia Tech.
Small lineup for both teams. You look at Tay Davis, he's going to be at the 5 spot for Notre Dame. Look for a lot of quick ball screen actions with Duncan Powell. Some pick and pop, dribble handoffs. Georgia Tech's got to find some offense here in this second half.
Powell's been a big contributor today, 13 points. That matches a season high, which he set against Duke. Here comes George looking for Powell. Has to kick it out. Shot clock down to 6. McCollum from an impossible angle.
You gotta be kidding me. How do you defend that? Tell you what, J.B. McCollum's on. There's not many better.
He's on today, 17 points. Alaco looking for Roper. Instead, Davis windmills down the lane for 2.
I love it. Goes down, initiates the contact, really sought out Dwight Powell's body, or Duncan Powell's body, excuse me. Really strong finish.
18 for Tay Davis. He leads all scorers.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to get a foul called as Terry elevated. Second foul on Tay Davis.
I love this. You get baseline drive, pass it up to the top. Look how he initiates contact. And his body has continued to mature throughout the course of his college career, seeking out that contact, creating just enough space for that left hand.
Women's college basketball takes over the ACC network every Thursday. You knew this. Starting this week, we have a doubleheader that starts at 6. Virginia Tech hosting Florida State. And then classic ACC matchup at 8, Stanford and SMU.
The All-Coast Conference.
All-Coast Conference indeed. Stanford, SMU, and Cal are the newcomers to the ACC this season.
There's your mismatch.
Olako. Knesny using the shot fake. Olako so good off the shot fake. Beats the horn. It's tipped around. Roper the follow.
We raved and raved and raved about the front court of Georgia Tech in that first half. Their toughness and physicality inside the painted area. Second half's been a different story. The Irish have owned everything inside of 8 feet, and that's why they're back in this ball game.
Mustaf almost walked. Puts it up over Olako for 2.
Jaden Mustaf's going to score a lot of points in a yellow jacket jersey. Big, physical. Led the EYBL in scoring for Boo Williams, but this guy can score too. My goodness, you've got to be kidding.
As Shrewsbury has come to play in the second half. All of his scoring since halftime. He's got a dozen. 8-point game. Powell against Olako, got into the body, and now Roper commits the foul.
About Braden Shrewsbury, we're going to take a look at that last three. Micah beside himself with that foul call. The scowl is noticeable. How about this, though? Coming around, curling just enough. Braden Shrewsbury, that's a bucket. And then coming down on the other end of the floor, I will say, Notre Dame, I thought that was a lot of ball sure, but at the same time, their movement offensively, Georgia Tech, has stagnated some. In the first half, they were passing, cutting with purpose, cutting to score twice, meaning cutting through the lane and then getting out quickly. Second half, been a lot of passing and holding, a couple of extra dribbles. They're going to have to clean that up because Notre Dame's come to play.
10-point game. We're past the halfway mark of the second half. Sky clear, and Olako rises and finishes.
From Princeton with love.
I'm not sure the guy used to live on 112 Mercer Street saw that one coming. George.
Wow.
It's tipped. Numbers for Notre Dame. Shrewsbury settles. He and Davis have been the catalysts for the comeback. Davis against Powell and rewarded with 2 more shots.
How about Notre Dame? I'm not going to say young legs, but how about partying like the Red Sea? Mr. Olako, mush. He mushed that one in. Duncan Powell, got to come over a little sooner, sir.
Princeton transfer. He's kind of stepped into the #1 point guard role with Marcus Burton out. I think he was as surprised as anybody.
He's been telling his teammates he could do this for probably the better part of 8 months. Now he actually did it. Talk about that dunk for the next 50 years.
It's a 2-possession game. It was a 19-point game at halftime. Davis has 20. Powell, the feathery touch.
I like his aggressiveness off the bounce. Saw the mismatch, knew he had the physical advantage.
He's got 17, Powell does, a season high. Olako's got 10 to go along with 6 helpers. He's got a mismatch. He'll shoot over Powell.
Come on!
And he hits.
Matt Olako has been unlocked in this second half.
Notre Dame within 5. And we'll get a blocking foul.
Duncan Powell has been the guy offensively for Georgia Tech. Season high 17 points. I like this little Euro step and a lefty. Why not for the big fella? And then Matt Alako has been that third guy. And he's got him within 5.
ACC men's basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. That's the guy who used to live at 112 Mercer Street, Einstein. I'm not sure any theory of his could have predicted the swings in this game. Georgia Tech cruising up by 19. Then Dongo picks up his 4th foul. Since Dongo left the game, Notre Dame is plus 11 here in this second half. And the question now for Damon Stoudemire, when do you put Dongo back in? It looks like we may get that answer right now.
It needs to be within the next 2 or 3 minutes because you can't let this carry on. And here's the problem, too. Notre Dame went small. Georgia Tech reciprocated. And what happened in the first half was it was that secondary defender that was coming over and bothering Tay Davis. When you go small, you have Duncan Powell guarding him as the bigger player, and the guy coming over to help as a guard. So it puts you in a bit of a pickle. Micah Shrewsbury going small has opened this game up for Tay Davis and for some of his shooters on the perimeter.
Yeah, Davis with 20 points for a 3rd straight game. McCollum able to draw the foul on the drive. Boy, when they've needed a big basket, they've called his number.
He's just so good at getting the defender on his hip. And then when you get on his hip, he has to be productive. So quick shimmy. That's a lot of ball right there. Wow. I take everything I said back. Bad call.
They get Knesny with his first. And McCollum, career 90% free throw shooter.
Good to have a closer of that sort. But, I mean, he's been one of the guys, really, Anish, where he's dribbled a little bit too much in this second half. And whenever you have Nate George and J.V. McCollum, they're both going to be able to do that. Now, I just noticed Kebajai coming into the game. Ryan Mutombo subs in as well. Now you have a 2-big lineup. I think that plays more into Georgia Tech's hands than it does Notre Dame's hands.
Why?
Well, the reason being is because you bring over that help defender being a bigger player. And I think Notre Dame has done a nice job when the game's been played with one true big of really opening up this game.
19 points for J.V. McCollum, a season high.
Extended 2-3 pressure. The bottom wings will come up for Damon Stoudemire to try to make some of these passing lanes difficult, and that is textbook, sir. Textbook. And how you attack a zone.
Went zone, and Notre Dame picked it apart. Backdoor cut off the feed from Tay Davis to Jai. 5-point game. Notre Dame's last lead was at 12-11. Powell forced one up. Alako's been everywhere. Lost it out of bounds.
How about breaking a zone? You couldn't draw it up any better than what just happened with Georgia Tech. You throw it right in the middle. Tay Davis, short corner. Kenny Kebajai, excuse me. He knows what to do. That's about as easy as his 2 points as you'll see all conference season. And about time, Bai Dongo back in the ball game with 4 fouls after sitting for the better part of the second half.
Dongo 8 points, 5 rebounds. Powell, there's that corner 3. Terry, offensive rebound. Powell, re-rack, rebound Shrewsbury. And I think you expect Notre Dame right now to come after 11 and white. Now Micah Shrewsbury pointing at Dongo. Dongo was on Jai. He backs off.
Need to get downhill.
Alako hits the jumper. And again, you saw Dongo. He hesitated. Didn't want to pick up that 5th foul.
That's exactly right. Nice job, Alako, being that older player playing off 2 feet, understanding he has the leverage. Easy fadeaway from about 8 feet.
And he knew Dongo would probably be a little tentative. It's a 3-point game. Georgia Tech led by 19 at the break. George out to Powell, off the shot fake. Powell throws it toward the rim, and he will get rewarded with 2 shots.
But again, this is a little bit different here. The ball's changing sides of the floor. And whenever Georgia Tech's been able to do that, they found some of these driving lanes off the pass. That's where Duncan Powell's seen some success.
Last year in the Big Sky, Powell led Sacramento State in scoring and rebounding. And this is the free throw. Thursday at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew breaks down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game. Both free throws no good for Powell. We'll also look ahead to the best matchups on the schedule for the weekend.
Whatever Kelly Gramlich says, just take it as gospel. Just throwing that out.
You Clemson folks stick together.
That's right. Here.
Dongo inside. Terry. And 2 shots coming for Lance Terry.
I would like to see Dongo a little bit more aggressive. He's looking to pass a little bit too much. Now you look at what Lance Terry's able to do. Nice job cutting to the rim when his defender turns his head. So you end up with the free throw. But Dongo, he's got to find a way to reassert himself, be aggressive without being overly so you don't get called for that fit.
1 out of 2 for Terry. And Notre Dame with another chance here to get closer, down 4. The Irish have outscored Georgia Tech by 15 in the second half. Knesny stolen away. Numbers for Georgia Tech. Terry puts it in with the up and under.
Shades of the first half there. Turnover, transition, easy bucket.
Two-possession game. Davis over Dongo, who did not commit the 5th. Backed away at the very last moment. It's 72-68. Less than 4.5 to play. Georgia Tech has yet to beat a power conference team this season. Notre Dame started 4-0, lost 5 straight, lost their best player, Marcus Burton. But they've won 3 in a row since. They've had 9 days off prior to this one. And Terry with the clutch 3 for Georgia Tech.
They needed it. They've struggled in the half court. They needed somebody to take the lid off here in the second half. It might be that rim down there, but big time shot from the top of the key.
Shrewsbury passed on the answer. Davis, kick ball. Timeout on the floor. 7-point lead. We go down the home stretch.
You got to attack a mismatch, and Tate Davis does that right here against a smaller player. Nice finish, but here's another thing. Lance Terry, big shot in the half court, trying to keep this Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets team afloat.
Coming up next is game 2 of our doubleheader. Number 4 Duke taking on Virginia Tech. It's been 10 days off for the Blue Devils. Cooper Flagg, you may have heard of him, leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. Let's send it back to Anish and Terrence for Notre Dame. Back, trying to at least.
Yeah, Justin, Anish Shroff, Terrence Oglesby. Conference play. You feel that when you get into the new year. You're feeling it right now, especially over these last few minutes.
The physicality. I'm sweating a little bit because it's warm in here, 1. Okay. But 2, the intensity from these guys has been awesome. The front court for Notre Dame really alive here in the second half. That young man right there, as talented as they come. Tate Davis, big fan of what he's capable of, not just now, but in the future. And that young fella, Javier McCollum, So quick, so crafty, capable shooter from three, excellent foul shooter. You can't foul him. I mean, this has been back and forth all day. And Georgia Tech, after a great first half, hoping to hang on.
Both teams have battled. Both teams have dealt with injuries to key players. Notre Dame still without their best player, Marcus Burton. Georgia Tech still without Kwesi Reeves, Andrew Chekwo, Luke O'Brien. A rebound, Dongo. What do these final 3.5 minutes come down to for both teams?
I think it comes down to who controls the backboard, because if you get a couple of extra possessions during these last 3 minutes and change, it can make all the difference. That ball's got to go in quicker.
Dongo, shot fake. And he will shoot two.
But you notice that possession from beginning to end, the ball moved, it popped. There was some offensive quickness away from the ball, so they're able to get open faster. And I thought the recognition for Dongo being open was a little bit late, but you see it here. Quick dribble handoff, ball moves ahead, quick pass to the corner, and then you have a mismatch down low. And if I'm Dongo right there, I'm going up trying to dunk that ball. You got to get an extra one, especially after sitting for so long. Try to find some power for your team.
Free throw is good. That was the 9th team foul on Notre Dame. So Georgia Tech in the double bonus from here on out. Kabajai in for Roper. Dongo, career 64% free throw shooter. Gets them both 2 for 4 today. It's a 9-point lead for Georgia Tech. 5 players in double figures. Olako navigating the baseline, and he stepped out of bounds.
Hey, you want to talk about conference play? You better be tougher with the basketball. If you're Matt Olako, you're an older player, play off 2 feet. That can't happen at the end of the game. You're trying to battle your way back in inside of 3 minutes.
Terry, George, McCollum, Dongo, and Powell on the floor for Georgia Tech. Powell, two-handed flush. It's got to be the hair.
There's no doubt it's the hair.
His best game as a Yellow Jacket, 19 for Duncan Powell. Timeout Micah Shrewsbury. 2:41 left in regulation.
Crypto wasn't for him. He dealt the classics. Low miles, big blocks, and bench seats. But when it came time to make a sale, there were no easy options. Banks were never open when he needed them, and cash could be a challenge in a place like this. So when a repeat buyer mentioned another option, he listened. Just a simple transfer, like a digital handshake. Crypto wasn't for him, until it was.
Born for greatness.
Duncan Powell has been a man amongst boys, a season high today with 19 points. The shag is in full effect, knocking down shots, attacking the rim. And I like this. Pass it across the floor. That left corner has been all him. And right before we went to break, a little Duncan for Duncan. Just a silly finish in traffic.
Holiday season, Duncan's toy chest. We've seen it all. 19 points, 3 rebounds, a couple of assists, and the energy.
And the inspiration for all of us bald guys.
Maybe the most important part.
Absolutely.
Does Notre Dame have another push?
But look at how a dunk in a timeout transforms the energy defensively. Wow, it doesn't matter.
Davis with another chance at a 3-point play. Boy, he has been Hercules since halftime.
He absolutely has, and it's that first step. You're always in retreat mode whenever you play a guy as quick and athletic as Tay Davis. Downright impressive has he been. 24 points on the day, and just does so getting to the cup and playing off 2 feet.
19 of his 24 since halftime. (79-71). Both teams now with 9 fouls, so double bonus for all involved here on out.
Little pressure. Dead man's corner, can't go there. When you go up against pressure in the full court, you do not cross half court right there, because now you effectively have 3 defenders. The midline and 2 guys coming to trap. Can't do that.
And Powell was stuck.
Yeah.
And that is a bailout with the foul call. Yeah, Tay Davis got armed.
And this game's been physical, but you rake across the arms right in front of the official.
20 points for Powell, which matches his career high.
And
he leads all scores for Georgia Tech.
What a nice find for this Georgia Tech coaching staff. Get him from Sacramento State. He's been outstanding.
It's a 10-point game. We come up on 2 to play. Urgency now for the Irish. Olako from 15. Jai fouled on the follow. And if that is Dongo, he's done.
I'm willing to take it. 10-point deficit or 10-point lead. You're willing to take one of those. You can't give up easy buckets, but you have to finish possessions first and foremost. Keba Jai, good physicality. Tough. Dongo, after a good first half, this second half's been a killer.
So Dongo is done. He is fouled out. And Jai, a career 71% free throw shooter, who followed Micah Shrewsbury from State College to South Bend, at the free throw line for the first time tonight. So you got Jai at the free throw line. Let's say he makes both, or at least he hits the second one. Then you've got to set up your defense.
Sure. And here's the thing, too. Now you look at Georgia Tech's lineup in the game. Jaden Mustaf, Duncan Powell, Lance Terry, Nate George, and McCollum. Small. Really small
handlers.
Exactly right. So you look to find something early within the first 10 seconds of the clock, at least touch the painted area to where you can spray out to one of your shooters.
(81-73). Some offense, defense, substitutions. Roper comes in. Pressure by the Irish. George picked up the dribble. Terry across the timeline. And now Georgia Tech will bleed clock.
Nice job. I think Jaden Mustaf, you have a freshman, sees a little bit of daylight. Mature play to get the ball back out to J.B. McCollum.
McCollum splits the D off the window. 21 for the Oklahoma transfer.
My goodness. He uses your own body against you to score. So good with leverage despite his size.
Down 10. They got to go quickly. Lot of wasted seconds. Roper against McCollum. One-handed runner, offensive rebound, rims out, tracked down by the freshman Mustaf. And did he get the timeout? He did, before stepping out of bounds.
They had opportunities. And here's the deal, whenever you do go smaller, how much quicker do you see this Georgia Tech team getting out the perimeter and just being able to stay in front of their man? Jaden Mustaf did a terrific job in a one-on-one out towards half court against Braden Shrewsbury, who's aggressive in looking for his shot. Very much here in the second half, those guards have played with a certain type of physicality after Notre Dame made their run. Jaden Mustaf with an excellent defensive possession.
Yeah, that defensive possession forced Notre Dame to play deep into the shot clock, and you got a 10-point lead with a minute to go. The time, more important at times than the score.
Absolutely at this point. Now, if you're Damon Stoudemire, you can't run the baseline, you can't move. Difficult spot to inbound the ball over in the corner of the floor. Now you have to find a way to get the ball in, escape pressure, and try to run something in the half court towards the end of the clock.
Not impossible for Notre Dame. So what's the formula? They have 2 timeouts for Micah Shrewsbury here.
I think you try to get a turnover quickly, and then I would throw a second defender at the ball in the half court if they're able to get past. But defensively, you know, optimally you want to create a turnover, get something quick, call timeout, and then keep things moving that way. But right now, I think it's a tall order. Inside a minute, 10 points. You got to get down, try to force turnovers, and you see the full court pressure coming out.
And here's what Georgia Tech has to close the game. McCollum, a career 90% free throw shooter. Terry, 81% this season. George, 88%, 21 out of 24 this season. So you've got some really talented free throw shooters out on the floor who can seal the game with a minute to go into 10-point lead.
Certainly helps. But difficult spot to inbound the ball.
Wow. McCollum throws it away, so Notre Dame forces the turnover.
But not
a lot of time.
But not only do you turn the ball over, you throw it out of bounds. You need to fake a pass, make a pass. This is when you return to your fundamentals. Now the clock stops. Notre Dame has the ball on the side. That's something that can't happen.
Alaco will inbound.
Look for Shrewsbury, number 11. Maybe to screen across and then come up.
Shrewsbury 4 for 6 from 3, all 4 threes this half. Here he is.
Good switch.
Shrewsbury on the handoff from Jai. And we're going to get a moving screen on Keba Jai.
That's tough. Keba Jai doing his best to create some space. And I don't really know if I should blame Jai as much as Shrewsbury. I thought Shrewsbury jumped the gun a little bit, and sometimes it's the big man that gets thrown under the bus a little bit. Nice pass.
Up ahead, Mustaf brings it in, and he is fouled. So 2 shots for the freshman out of Maryland. Dad was a great player at Maryland, former Knicks first-round pick. Passed away in October.
He's a nice player. I saw him play for the first time. Played for Boo Williams, AAU in the EYBL circuit at Peach Jam. That young man can score the basketball. And today, I mean, you obviously didn't score it like he usually does. Only 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. But a lot of tools does this young man have.
1 out of 2. It's an 11-point game. Alaco picks up his dribble. McCollum all over him. Davis on the inside. It rims out. Mustaf the rebound. And now the foul on Notre Dame, and 2 more free throws for the freshman. And Georgia Tech, less than 30 seconds from an ACC win, and the Yellow Jackets' first win against a power team this season.
Well, they earned it, and it all came from the first half, that physicality, getting that big lead. And then in the second half, Notre Dame showed a lot of resolve, crawling back in, cutting the lead down to 4 points. But Duncan Powell, I mean, talk about McCollum, sure. Talk about Lance Terry, sure. Duncan Powell today, both on the glass, making the extra effort plays, knocking down that corner 3 that he loves so much. I thought he was outstanding after Dongo goes out with foul trouble early in the second half.
Alaco against Terry. Terry got a piece. Davis drops it in. And Micah Shrewsbury calling off the Dogs. Georgia Tech in front of its home crowd. The 4th game on a 5-game homestand. And the Yellow Jackets get their biggest win of the season and it's a conference win.
Absolutely, and it all came from the physicality in the first half.